Hey everybody, welcome back to Matthew Kelly Pottery on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about how to pack and ship pottery that I've sold on Etsy, and I'm hoping that in this video I give you some tips and tricks on an effective way and a safe way to pack and ship your pottery. I have actually done this video one time before and a lot of you have probably seen it, but I had my box fan running in the background because it's been extremely hot here in North Carolina. Heat indexes of like 105. And so it's another hot day today, but I remembered to turn the box fan off because I had it on. It was creating extra noise and it was making my microphone clip. So just going to replace that video with this one once I finish it. But I did an Etsy sale for 2 days, then I had to pause it for 2 days for my sale here at my house. And then I resumed it with pieces that were left and added a few new ones. So I've got 16 more orders to pack from the last 24 hours of sales on Etsy. And so I'm going to pick a couple simple items to pack and ship here and give you an updated, a new version where better audio, and yeah, we're going to talk about how to pack and ship pottery. So let's go. Alright, so here we go. One of the first things I want to talk about is actually something I tried to talk about in the first video, and I recorded a short segment on, but that video clip didn't make it. Not because of the audio clipping, but because I had a phone call during that part, and I didn't realize it because my phone was on silent, but it interrupted that video, and so I got like 35 seconds of a clip, and then it just stopped, and I was like, what happened? And then later I found out that somebody called me during that time, and so it cut off my recording. So first tip for myself, which I should have been doing a long time, is put my phone in airplane mode when I'm recording a clip or recording a video, because then it doesn't get interrupted. So the only time I can't do that is when I'm doing live streams, because then I need the data for my phone to also record and upload to YouTube, all that good stuff. So anyway, so here's the clip that I talked about the first time. I've done 3 or 4 Etsy sales before this one. And what I didn't do in those that I did in this one that really helped me is that as I took photos of every pot, took 3 or 4 photos of every piece or group of pieces that I had for sale, is that I just took those and then I wrote them in a notebook and took measurement sizes and all that, but I didn't number each piece. And so what it did is after I sold something, I had to look at the picture, then I had to go to my rack where I set all the pieces aside that were on Etsy, and I had to find that piece, and sometimes I had to compare the picture with the pot, make sure the drips were the same and all this crazy stuff. So this time I got smart and I said, you know what, why don't I just number everything that I put on Etsy, and then all I got to do is go find the pot with that number on it. I don't have to inspect the glaze and the way it drips to make sure it's the right one, because a lot of times I'll glaze 3 or 4 pieces the same way, but they may be, the drips may be a little bit different, and I want to make sure the picture of the piece that somebody bought, the pictures they saw, is the piece that arrives in the mail and not one just similar. Unless I have a listing as, there are 3 items similar to this and you'll get one of those 3, then it's understandable. But if I got one listing of one pot and then I send them a different one, I'm going to be in trouble. So I don't want to do that. So you can see this mug here, this is the first one we're going to pack. This one's going to a gentleman named Bert, who is actually somebody who visited my shop earlier this year or the end of last year. I can't remember now which, but really nice gentleman. And this is going to go to him. So this was number 109. I had in my first 2 days of listings, I had I think 1 through 85 as far as the different groupings of items that I had for sale. And some of those items sold and some of them didn't, but instead of trying to fill in the numbers where it didn't, where I had sold items, I just picked back up at like 86 and then numbered up through. So this was number 109 that sold yesterday, and so all I had to do was look at his listing, and what I did is I took that number when I created my listings on Etsy, is in the description I put like a dash and then number 109 and then so on, so that as it sells, that shows up in my sold items, and all I gotta do is go look for number 109, go pick it off the shelf, grab it, box it up, and pack it. So I did mention that briefly in the last video, but I wanted to cover a little bit more about why I did that, because that clip got lost in the last video. So now let's get this one packed up, okay? Before we get started here, packing this mug up, I wanted to show you the materials that I have to pack with. I have my boxes, and I double box everything, which I mentioned in the first video. That's definitely in packing up for, how many ever Etsy, or a couple hundred pots that I've packed now that I've sold on Etsy throughout my entire time selling on Etsy. I have not broke one single pot, or it has not broken in shipment. So double boxing is key to this whole shipping pottery. But right here I've got some 12-inch, some 10-inch, some 8-inch, and some 6-inch cube boxes. Like I said, I just buy the cubes, and that allows me to pack everything that I need. I've got a huge roll of foam paper there. That is a 2-foot tall roll, and then it's perforated every 1 foot the other way, so I can rip off as much as I want. Wrap each individual pot in that, which you'll see here in a minute. I've got my packing peanuts, the biodegradable ones, and then I've got some of this thicker foam paper here that I'll use to go in between the 2 layers of boxes as kind of like an extra layer of cushion between the 2 boxes, just to make sure everything ships and arrives safely. So it's like I said, it costs definitely a bit more to have all these packing materials, everything that I need, and to double box, but it is well worth it instead of having to replace an item that breaks while shipping. Alright, so the first thing I do, of course, is pick out the mug off of my rack over here of the items. Take the number, take that sticker off. I'll throw all those away eventually, but just make a little pile of them. I got my mug here, whatever the item is that's sold. I like to wrap each piece in this foam paper. Tuck it in the top, wrap it around the bottom, and then I'm going to tape this up. Just like to make sure that that foam paper is going to stay on there during shipment. Of course, by the time I put it in the box with the peanuts, it probably wasn't going to come apart. But everything I do with shipping is kind of like a tad on the overkill side. But as I said, I'd rather do that than try to replace a one-of-a-kind item that breaks in shipment. So now I'll grab my 2 boxes that I'm going to need to ship this in. This will fit in a 6-inch cube, and then that 6-inch cube box will go in an 8-inch cube box. If you've received a package from me before, you've probably noticed that the inside box is stamped. I don't buy my boxes already stamped, but I have a custom-made stamp, and I stamp my own. I just stamp 2 sides of the inside box, and then fold that up and tape the bottom to put the item in. I like to flip it over and push down on the inside to make sure that tape's really stuck in the bottom. For this mug, I'm just going to set it down inside like that, and then I'm going to fill around that with peanuts to make sure that that is not bumping around inside. What I like to do is make sure that the handle, if it is a mug, is pushed towards the corner or turned toward the corner, so that handle has more room for in case the package does get bumped very hard. That'll have more room around that, so I kind of position the mug like that. I'll use a bowl of mine to scoop out some of the peanuts, dump one bowl of the peanuts in there, and that way I can kind of get the mug a little more centered once I get just one little scoop in there, and then just get a few more peanuts to fill out the top of the box, and just make sure it's all in there secure. Alright, so now I've got that packed up. Shake it around, it's not moving at all inside there, which is good. Then I take my 8-inch box, tape that together on the bottom. With the outside box, I like to tape it both ways. Taping it this way first kind of holds the flaps together, and then I can tape it this way. And then, like I said, like to flip it over, push down on the inside, make sure all that tape is stuck down in the bottom. I use this pink foam back here that's thicker. It's probably like close to a 1/2 inch thick. I use it as a liner for the inside of this box to go around the box on the inside, because you can see there's room around this box on all sides inside of here. So I just cut this down to fit. The good thing about this is I got all this foam paper for free. And if my resource for that ever runs out, I might just look into maybe buying a 7-inch box that the 6-inch box would fit in, and then not have as much room to go around. But for now, I just thought, you know what, it's even more secure if I can do a layer of foam, so there's a cushion layer in between the two boxes. And like I said, it's a tad overkill, but I'd rather do that and not break pieces. Now I know that in order to pack that 6-inch box inside of this 8-inch box, it takes about a half of this sheet this way. So I can take my pocket knife and I can split this foam right down the middle this way. And then I can split it into little squares going this way. Try not to cut all the way through too severely, because I don't want to scratch my destroy my table. So, but I can get these bigger pieces, but I can also use these smaller pieces to fit in around the big ones as well. So I'll put one piece of that foam down in the bottom. I put my 6-inch box in there, and then I line all 4 of the sides with this. And then what I can do is use some of these smaller foam pieces to put in on all 4 sides. Might use one of these bigger ones. I usually have a bunch of small pieces here from when I'm cutting a bunch of them that I can fill in with as I'm doing this. But alright, so that's what we have right now. I have the 6-inch box and I have all that space filled in with the foam. So we've got a lot of crumple zone, as I would say. Also, if you've ordered from me online, you know that usually in your package will come a personal message. So I was using my postcards from my first kiln opening until that passed, and even a little bit afterwards. But for now, I just have some blank note cards that I bought that I'm going to handwrite notes to those who bought. So this one's going to Bert. Alright, so I put the note in there, put a business card in there, and a couple more pieces of the foam paper to fill out the top. I tape the top down the same way I did the bottom. Then I take my box, put it on my scale, weigh it. It weighs 1 pound, 11.1 ounces. When I go to print the label here on Etsy, I always put in a couple more ounces, as long as it doesn't go over the next pound, just to make sure that when I take this to the post office that it doesn't weigh more than I've said, because I want to make sure that all my labels are priced accurately. But that's going to be under 2 pounds no matter how I go. So I'm just going to go to the computer now and we'll do the shipping label through Etsy. Alright, if you've sold on Etsy before, you know, but one thing I love about Etsy is the ease at which they make it for you to be able to buy and print the shipping labels through their website. So that's one thing I love about them, is that I can go and I've got Bert's order right there. All I have to do is click on the little shipping van there. It says get USPS shipping labels. I've got the I can put in the weight here. It was estimated at 2 pounds. I'm going to put 1 pound 13 ounces, which is probably going to be the same price, but just to be a little bit more accurate, it tells me the price of my shipping label. All I got to do is review my purchase and then hit purchase, and then it comes up where I can print my shipping label. All I got to do is hit enter because it's already highlighted. I hit Control P and hit enter because my Dymo, my brand new label printer, is already set up. And it will print out my label, and boom, tear that off, tape that on the box, and it's ready to go. I won't show you that side because it's got his address on it, but yeah, we'll set this over here in the pile and pack some more, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. there's our pile of boxes that we've packed today. And as you saw in the time lapse, I had some help for a good portion of that. At least it was help. My little one came in and he wanted to help, so it probably took a little longer than normal, but I was really happy to have him in here, and I'm sure you guys will love seeing him running around during the time lapse. So but maybe I'll put that in the title somewhere as well. But anyway, one thing that I saw in a message while I was recording this, or in between cuts, I saw somebody ask specifically about my label printer. That is a Dymo Label Writer 4XL. So I will put a link to that, maybe an Amazon link to that, in the description. So if you're interested in that label printer, it's been great. I've probably printed 40 or so labels so far on it, 40 or 50. Haven't had a single problem with it. The initial setup was a little confusing at first, getting everything set up right, but once I got that taken care of, actually not through Etsy. Etsy was fine. When I printed a couple labels straight from the post office website, I had to configure a couple things and get that worked out. But I got it, and everything's working great. And tomorrow morning, all these will go to the post office. And great thing, like I said as well, about Etsy is once you print all the labels, you can go back and highlight all the ones that you bought and printed, and then you can create a USPS scan sheet that has one barcode on it for all your packages. You can hand that to the post office worker. They can scan that one label. You hand them all the boxes as long as all the numbers line up as far as the amount of boxes, and that you correctly weighed them, then you're good to go. It takes me about 5 minutes to haul the boxes in, probably take me even less for all this. Hand him the one sheet, hand him all the boxes, and I walk out and we're done. So don't forget to do that if you are doing Etsy sales, or just sales through the post office website. You can do it through there as well. It's a little bit trickier through them to make sure you get them all on one scan sheet, but definitely you can figure that out. That definitely helps a whole lot. The first time I did an Etsy sale, I think I walked in with about 35 packages, and he had to scan and scan each one to enter it into the system. I had already had the labels, but I had to stand there while I scanned each one instead of that scan sheet. And so the scan sheet makes it a whole lot easier. That's a huge tip. But anyway, thank you guys for being here, and I hope the audio is much better on this one. Apologize again about the last one, but you guys are awesome. I know several of you commented on that, but several of you watched it anyways, and I appreciate that. But this one will be much better, and you get the joy of watching my little 4-year-old run around like a crazy man in here. So anyway, thank you guys as always for your support on Etsy, on YouTube, on Patreon. All those links are in the description. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, any of those. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.